Today is Tuesday, 4 days away from the event. Over the weekend, I tried to catch up on time a little bit by taking my car to get fabricated at my friend's house. He did me a big favor by working on the weekends, which is something he doesn't normally do. He ended up doing my intercooler piping, and whoever did my seat and mount for my ECU ended up fixing that. He also got my shifter welded on. Special thanks to Domi for helping me get everything centered the right way so that I don't mess up my PPG. What I was expecting was Monday to put the engine harness on. Unfortunately, Monday was a scratch and we got nothing done. Today is Tuesday. We still have to finish cleaning out the intercooler, the exhaust manifold, finish putting a few items on the engine, getting the sensors on. Then hopefully tomorrow we have the engine harness guy come over, put everything on. We can do a sensor check, and then that'll move us forward till Thursday. Hopefully we'll be able to get it tuned, but at this point everything's up in the air and I'm just living minute to minute at this point. So let's see if we can make it. Saturday we took the car to Peter's. I boost Fabrications on Instagram. Peter and I used to work at a big race car shop, making magic happen for pennies on the dollar, guiding others to the treasure we couldn't afford to acquire for ourselves. We learned a lot, met a lot of important people in the industry, and now we are creating an alliance together on this beautiful Honda Civic. He said he hasn't worked on cars in quite some time, so he was excited to be a part of the project. Peter is a beautiful fabricator, and I was excited to have his work done on my car. Ironically enough, this man does better quality work than most all fabricators that I have touched my car in the past few years. In a future video, I will begin to show you guys quality of work, pricing, time costs, or various projects I've had done to give you guys an in-depth look of what goes on behind closed doors. We spend the rest of the afternoon with Peter and Domi to get the G-force shifter installed and fitted. The shift linkage has to be measured, cut, and welded to assure proper engagement within the dog box. It is important to note that the G-force shifter be placed in an orientation that allowed the first gear to be hard to engage, and needing both arms to force into first gear to allow when shifting that it is impossible to one-to-one. This is not a true lockout, and there isn't one that exists when this car was being built. We also had to fix the Kirky positioning because the way it was fabricated, my head would hit the roof with my helmet on. And that's saying a lot because I'm 5'3". We also noticed when I would drop the clutch, my knee would hit the steering wheel. I used to have a step up on my clutch pedal that we welded on because I couldn't engage it entirely before whenever the Kirky couch was installed. So we moved the steering column up, cut off the step up, and he adjusted the Haltech dash so that I could see it perfectly and not cockeyed. Okay, this is what we got done over the weekend. We did the EGTs on the manifold. He did my new intake piping for my new blow-off valve. This is not a new blow-off valve, it just came off my 240, but before I was running the eBay one. This is a tile one, so we have that. And then we didn't do the V-band clamps on here nicely because we're going to be changing out this intercooler instead of doing the same work twice. Might as well just wait. Didn't have a chance to get the intercooler done because such a time crunch, and pretty much overnighted a lot of parts already as it is, and kind of disgusting how much I spent in overnight shipping just for me to not make the event, but it just charged it to the game. So tedious part, the last day of getting all the finishing touches done. Got to take this back off, clean it. You can see some metal down deep in there. Let's see if we can zoom in and you guys can see it. Didn't get a chance to clean that just yet. Got to install the dipstick on the engine. Eventually I'll change this out. This is a 50mm, change it to a 60mm, maybe whenever I do the intercooler and stuff like that and I have a little bit of downtime. Got to do the oil pressure sensor in the engine and the water sensor, right? What else? I forgot to put the 2-inch spacer that everybody puts on here, and that's gonna also have to be another thing, and I'm gonna have to redo this once again whenever we do that, but it is what it is. We're just trying to make it to the event this weekend. I've heard mixed reviews about the quality of different intercoolers. What kind of intercooler do you guys run on your car? I've heard that a lot of intercooler cores are eBay or junk and you shouldn't use them. Also, I didn't do a front-facing turbo setup because that would have cost me probably another $4,000. So I stuck with what I have, obviously, because I just spent a significant amount of money trying to get this thing back together. Oh, you're gonna have to go inside.
Hold it. Because when you hit it hard, it's gonna go this way, right?
I don't know. Hit it, hold it with both hands.
Just Just hit it really hard. And go through the hole.
This process has incredible ups and downs of rebuilding a race car after blowing it up, so we decided to have a little fun by breaking the brake cleaner. I saw it on Instagram and I wanted to try it out. I don't care what you guys have to say, I'm still gonna have fun and do whatever I want, so. And she is like so cautious to eat the apple, but as soon as it's something unedible, that's just gone in a second.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is wrong with you? You're not meant to survive. Like, you have no survival skills at all. Stop eating stuff off the ground! Tape, really?
You wanna go inside?
You wanna go in the cage?
So this
That
way.
circle.
Mm-hmm.
And between here?
No. Just around the gasket.
Just around the circles. Got it.
Wait, we gotta put that tube first.
What tube?
That tube. Wipe that off.
The dipstick?
Mm-hmm.
It's quite comical how many times I ended up having to put on this gasket and take it off and the manifold and redo this process probably about 4 or 5 times after everything's said and done. Meanwhile, Robert's putting the spark plugs in, he gapped them, have everything ready for whenever the engine harness does arrive, that the car's going to be ready to start with minimal work. I'm sure a lot of people run into issues where they're dealing with somebody that has a new build and their car's not even ready to start and it ends up being a much longer night than need be. We try to eliminate all sort of problems so that we don't stress anybody else out and the car is dialed in. We're good.
Still good.
Like this. Or like this.
No, it's up.
Like this. You sure?
Yeah, hold on. You normally do that too, right? You normally do.
Robert having the utmost patience for me, letting me do everything myself. This could have been done a lot quicker, but I wanted to do it, so he had to sit back and just watch me. I let him do the EGTs because that's a very important part, and I wanted it to be perfect, especially for the readings that we need. So I let him do that, and then he left me unsupervised in this part and let me do this while he went to Ace Hardware for like the 9th out of 13 times that we ended up going. So I just did the gasket, put it on the motor, and he got back pretty soon to make sure that I didn't mess anything up.
What happened? Put your finger in there?
No, you just slammed it really hard, and I was holding it right here, and it just went through my hand. As I'm installing the exhaust manifold, they're having to redo where the sensor's going to go because the sensor that we got didn't fit within the threads. So we had to tap it, and then we ended up installing the sensor, and the water hose wasn't able to fit. So we had to figure out how we were going to get that to work. But then we noticed once screwed in all the way, the sensor and the hose just minimally had clearance in between the both of them, and everything ended up being okay. Since I blew up my turbo engine and everything, I needed a way to clean out my intercooler because it was filled with a lot of oil, so we ended up using gasoline. I was back and forth between a lot of people asking them what they would use. I heard water, brake cleaner, degreaser, and we ended up going with gasoline, maybe so that it wouldn't have any water residual left over. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think about it, what you would clean your intercooler with. Maybe we'll have a better option next time, if there is a next time, or just help out other people so that they know what to do. So we didn't test fit the turbo before putting on the EDTs, and now you can see, where is it? Right here, the hole's not lining up, and the turbo's hitting on that. Where is it? this EGT right there. So we might have to take these back out.
I don't even think this is gonna fit because of this either.
The turbo's too big? Bigger than my last one?
Yeah, let me see. Let me take that old EGT out.
Okay.
And then just see.
So we took the EGT off, so see if the turbo fits now without it. If not, then we have to come up with something different.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to cap it and then maybe put those two in that side and the bottom.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put those two in the bottom.
Oh, it fits? Oh yeah, I mean, kinda. I don't know. Kinda. That's gonna be... That gets tighter, right?
Yeah, but I need to like...
This gets tighter.
Give me those two bolts.
Here.
That bolt's fucking me.
Is there a way we can get a flatter bolt there?
Maybe.
With less of a head?
Less of a head, yeah.
Here. Because right now, I mean, it's only the one EGT, right? You don't need to move the other one?
This one too.
So I'll put those two underneath. Peter's gonna kill us. And then try to see if we can find a flatter one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to get this done today. Somehow.
You need to kiss that fucking dream of you going this weekend. Goodbye. Kiss that sucker goodbye.
Oh man. Is it because you guys don't have determination?
No, we're not chip foos. We have to rely on other people.
I know.
If we have everything here, then we fine. Stay up to fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning if we have to.
Thankfully, I called Peter, and he said that we can bring the car last minute Tuesday night, but the engine harness guy was supposed to arrive Wednesday, and I kind of just gave up the Spring Nationals idea, so this is me being depressed. 8 p.m. on Thursday night, and we just got the car back because we fucked up. And put the EGTs on top of the manifold, so that had to take a couple days and redo. But here we are. We're definitely going to make the reunion, but I mean, I hope we make the reunion at this point. We still have to do the wiring harness. So. Also, if you notice, we're using a marker to mark the exhaust and wastegate to know how to put it back in the same orientation. So Wednesday, whenever we took the car home, no wait, Tuesday night, we took the car home and we realized Wednesday, whenever we put the turbo on, the EGTs didn't fit after we just put the EGTs on it. So we ended up doing 2 EGTs on the bottom and 2 on the top. And then we had him make a new piping here and here because my old piping didn't fit. So he did like a little step up here, and then he was running into issues of this hitting the EGT down here. So he did such a great job at making everything work. He ended up putting my what is it? I don't know. He ended up putting... My brain was fried at this point, so, and looking back on everything, we probably shouldn't have put the wideband there because it ended up going through a lot of sensors. Alright, let's talk about it. So...
It's just too long. It needs to be longer. This has got to be longer.
The whole coupler has to be a 4-inch because this is, what, a standard 3-inch length. So, see if there's one on Amazon, because the way that the turbo is, it sits like, I guess, caddy corner or something to the intercooler piping that we have now. So we need something that can bend. That's just not long enough to have like a little curvature in it. It's supposed to be straight. These are not dead on. Let me see if I can see right here. See how they're a little bit off-centered. Okay. Taking the oil drain flange off my Precision turbo that I blew up and putting it on the brand new Garrett turbo. It was pretty much a direct fit. We had a gasket that we ended up having to cut because the Garrett has like a flat part to one of the sides. So that's pretty much all we had to do. I cleaned it out, installed it. This is a 7170 Garrett turbo, so it is bigger than my Precision turbo. I was running a 6766 before. The Garrett turbo is significantly heavier. I ended up finding out that a lot of people end up shaving part of the turbo to help with weight loss. I think we're going to have to end up adding weight to the car anyways. It's not something that I would be interested in, but that's just what I heard. I think this thing weighs the same amount of mace. I need your services, sir.
Look me up.
I need that gasket.
Be quick.
You see my weight? At this point, I'm pretty sure that my neighbors are hating me because this is probably like 11:30 at night. We're trying to get the car completely finished for Friday morning so that the engine harness guy can come over and install the engine harness, and we can have a first startup tomorrow night, and then possibly tune the car Monday morning. The sooner I start this car, the better. We can make sure that the car doesn't have any issues as far as leaks or anything like that, that the shifter is engaging the transmission properly. Anything can go wrong whenever you're starting a new build, and I just want to have the leverage of having enough time to fix anything before we make it to the dyno. Where's my nickel? I can't what?
Can't turn it.
Turn my finger?
No.
Oh, it has to stay like that.
Yeah.
And then you turn it.
Yeah. Check.
Wait, does it go along here?
Just turn it. This is swivel, right? No? This don't turn?
Does it matter how much it spins?
No.
Slightly.
Just turn it.
Dirty. We have to clean it up. Blow it.
Blow it. That's gonna be like that, though. Yeah.
Ooh, it got me. Good.
Unless we use this one and say fuck it.
This one's fitting?
Huh?
Use which one? The coupler?
The couple, yeah.
It's long. I know. Is this ready to be installed? Oh, we gotta blow it. Do you want to turn that on right now?
No, it's cool.
You can do it. We got to my least favorite part of the build is installing the turbo. I say the least favorite part because putting the bolts on the turbo are impossible. Like the amount of specialized tools and like connector after connector of extensions is so significant. I've just tried to come up with easier and easier ways to get these bolts to stay on there. We have to install 2 from the top and 2 from the bottom. So we ended up jacking the car up and allowing me to go under there while one person holds the top of the bolt and the other person holds the bottom to make sure that they're getting screwed on properly. You need to have these turbo bolts as tight as possible, and that makes it so difficult because you can strip them at any point just because it's such an awkward place to try to tighten these bolts and there's no room. After installing the turbo, we decided to call it a night just because we were completely exhausted. It was midnight and it would just be better if we got a good night's sleep and started fresh in the morning. There's not much left to do on the car, pretty much easy stuff that we could do in 30 minutes. It's not unusual for us to finish this pretty quickly. It's Friday, spring national qualifying. Obviously we didn't make it. Went through a lot of trials and tribulations trying to get the turbo to work because it's bigger than my old turbo. So, and then we put the EGTs on the manifold. First, we put the 4 EGTs on top of the manifold before we even test fitted the turbo. When we put the turbo on, we realized that 2 of the EGTs were hitting the turbo. So then we had to relocate those to the bottom. And then we had to make new piping for the turbo and the wastegate because one of the piping for the exhaust was hitting an EGT. So we had to make it around it. And then Peter from Fabrications ended up making the piping work so that it still lined up with my hood. We only had to make small little what would you call that? Like, well, we only had to make small, what?
Increments?
We only had to make small, like, incisions on the hood to get the piping to fit, which is perfect because I wanted to keep my hood as OEM looking as possible without having to put, like, a giant plate on it to make it look, you know, like I've cut a big square out of it. What else? Okay, so we brought it home last night. We stayed up till, what was it, midnight, getting the car buttoned up. We still have to put, like, some accessories on, like the fuel rail, the injectors, the throttle cable, stuff like that. And let's see if we can get everything done today. Hopefully the harness guy comes today so that we can get the car turned on under its own power, because we still have, what is it, like 5 days before the reunion. And we haven't actually driven the car, so we don't know if the shifter linkage that we made is going to work. Feels a little flimsy from how we put it on, so normally it's tighter. So we definitely need the car running under its own power to make sure that the car is running properly before we go and make test passes.